Hello everybody, welcome to In the Word with Bree, where this is like a community where we get together and we read the Bible daily. I'm so excited that you're here. Today we will be reading Genesis. I just looked it up too. I think 41 and 42. Sorry, I'm off in my calendar. So I have this calendar. I'm just going to show you all the calendar that literally has like the next year of reading planned out and sermons. And somehow this week I missed a video somewhere. And I don't know what day I didn't read, but I'm off. So I need to read yesterday's today. And here comes my hubby with my coffee. Thank you. He's a good hubby. Anyways, got my gnome. I think we should name them. I have 2 gnome mugs. So please, if you see this video, maybe you can help me name my gnomes. I don't know. I'm obsessed with them. They're my fall cups. Anyways, Genesis 41, 42. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for my gnome. And I'll be reading from the Christian Standard Bible translation. That's my favorite. So go ahead and get your coffee or your water or nothing. Grab your Bible and let's get reading. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just listen along. I'm just excited that you're here. So yeah, let's get going. Put my stuff down. Oh, look, my niece, she made this for me at church today. It's a starfish. She's so cute. Okay, it's going to be my bookmark. Again, so I am reading from my She Reads Truth, Christian Standard Bible translation. I just grabbed the one that has all my notes in it. Genesis 41 and 42. Here we come. Just to recap, if you're picking up and you're not following along with us, no worries. We are in the middle of Joseph's story. So he's been locked in a dungeon and forgotten, and Joseph is a man who was sold into slavery. So that's enough information for you to pick up where we are. Genesis 41. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams. At the end of 2 years, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing beside the Nile when 7 healthy-looking, well-fed cows came up from the Nile and began to graze among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, sickly and thin, came up from the Nile and stood beside those cows along the bank of the Nile. The sickly, thin cows ate the healthy, well-fed cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep and dreamed a second time. 7 heads of grain, plump and good, came up from one stalk. After them, 7 heads of grain, thin and scorched by the east wind, sprouted up. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 plump, full ones. Then Pharaoh woke up, and it was only a dream. When morning came, he was troubled, so he summoned all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one could interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "Today I remember my faults." Pharaoh was angry with his servants, and he put me and the chief baker in the custody of the captain of the guard. He and I had dreams on the same night. Each dream had its own meaning. Now a young Hebrew, a slave of the captain of the guards, was with us there. We told him our dreams. He interpreted our dreams for us, and each had its own interpretation. It turned out just the way he interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was hanged. Then Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they quickly brought him from the dungeon. He shaved, changed his clothes, and went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said about you that you can hear a dream and interpret it. I am not able to, Joseph answered Pharaoh. It is God who will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, In my dream I was standing on the bank of the Nile, when 7 well-fed, healthy-looking cows came up from the Nile and grazed among the reeds. After them 7 other cows, weak, very sickly and thin, came up. I've never seen such sickly ones as these in all the land of Egypt. Then the thin, sickly cows ate the first 7 well-fed cows. When they had devoured them, they could not tell that they had devoured them. Their appearance was as bad as it had been before. Then I woke up. In my dream, I also saw 7 heads of grain, full of good, coming up from one stalk. After them 7 heads of grain withered, thin, and scorched by the east wind sprouted up. The thin heads of grain swallowed the 7 good ones. I told this to the magicians, but no one can tell me what it means. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, Pharaoh's dreams mean the same thing. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads are 7 years. The dreams mean the same thing. The 7 thin, sickly cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 worthless, scorched heads of grain are 7 years of famine. It is just as I told Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt. After them, 7 years of famine will take place, and all the abundance in the land of Egypt will be forgotten. The famine will devastate the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered because of the famine that follows. For the famine will be very severe. Since the dream was given twice to Pharaoh, it means that the matter has been determined by God, and he will carry it out soon. So now, let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this. Let him appoint overseers over the land and take 1/5 of the harvest of the land of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. Let them gather all the excess food during these good years that are coming. Under Pharaoh's authority, store the grain in the cities, so that they may preserve it as food. The food will be a reserve for the land during the 7 years of famine that will take place in the land of Egypt. Then the country will not be wiped out by the famine. Genesis 41:37. Joseph exulted. The proposal pleased Pharaoh and all his servants, and he said to them, Can we find anyone like this, a man who has God's Spirit in him? So Pharaoh said to Joseph, Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one as discerning and wise as you are. You will be over my house, and all my people will obey your commands. Only I, as king, will be greater than you. Pharaoh also said to Joseph, See, I am placing you over all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh removed his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, clothed him with fine linen garments, and placed gold chains around his neck. He had Joseph ride in the second chariot, and servants called out before him, Make way! So he placed him over all the land of Egypt. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and no one will be able to raise his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt without your permission. Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zapna-Paneah, and gave him a wife, Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Genesis 41:46. Joseph's administration. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Joseph left Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout the land of Egypt. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced outstanding harvests. Joseph gathered all the excess food in the land of Egypt during the 7 years and put it in the cities. He put the food in every city from the fields around it. So Joseph stored up grain in such abundance, like the sand of the sea, that he stopped measuring it because it was beyond measure. 2 sons were born to Joseph before the years of famine arrived. Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore them to him. Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh and said, God has made me forget all my hardship and my whole family. And the second he named Ephraim and said, God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Then the 7 years of abundance in the land of Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began just as Joseph had said. There was famine in every land, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. When the whole land of Egypt was stricken with famine, the people cried out to Pharaoh for food. Pharaoh told all Egypt, "Go to Joseph and do whatever he tells you." Now the famine had spread across the whole region, so Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe in all of Egypt. Every land came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain, for the famine was severe in every land. So we see Joseph go from being in the dungeons and hardship to being exalted. So God essentially using him for the greater good of everybody. And I think one thing that I love about Joseph's story is his attitude during the suffering. I mean, being imprisoned and being falsely accused, that must have been horrible. He suffered. And so, however, he didn't complain. He worked just as hard and just as diligently in prison, from prison. He was a good prisoner. He was even put in charge. And so I think that just goes to show us with the Holy Spirit how we're meant to approach suffering. Suffering is hard, and whether that's in work, or you have a difficult boss, or you're in school and you have a difficult teacher or friends or community, or the government is awful in your opinion, we're still meant to suffer well, regardless of our circumstances. We're to, sorry, my hair looks crazy. We're to show Jesus through the suffering. We're not meant to be the ones that are panicking or angry or upset. We're not supposed to respond. Even like for Joseph, who's falsely accused, we're not supposed to harbor that. And that's really hard to do. That's not something that you can even do on your own. You have to have the Lord to do that, and to do it well. So I think that's one thing that I like about Joseph's story and his suffering. I'm sorry, I'm touching my hair so much. It's bugging me. Anyways, so we'll continue on reading. Sorry, I don't know. I just, that's something that I never noticed about Joseph's story. How he just suffers well. And I think that's kind of inspiring. So Genesis 42, Joseph's brothers in Egypt. So now we're going to get Joseph's Joseph's brothers are the ones that sold him into slavery, if you remember. So now we're going to see them back in Joseph's life. So Genesis 42. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you keep looking at each other? Listen," he went on, "I have heard there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us, so that we will live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he thought something might happen to him. The sons of Israel were among those who came to buy grain, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Joseph was in charge of the country. He sold grain to all its people. His brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the ground. When Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he treated them like strangers and spoke harshly to them. "Where do you come from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan, to buy food," they replied. Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. Joseph remembered his dreams about them and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the weakness of the land." "No, my lord, your servants have come to buy food," they said. "We are all sons of one man. We are honest. Your servants are not spies." "No," he said to them, "you have come to see the weaknesses of the land." But they replied, "We, your servants, were 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. The youngest is now with our father, and one is no longer living." Then Joseph said to them, "I have spoken. You are spies. This is how you will be tested. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not leave this place unless your younger brother comes here. Send one from among you to get your brother. The rest of you will be imprisoned so that your words can be tested to see if they are true. If they are not, then as surely as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." So Joseph imprisoned them together for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph said to them, I fear God. Do this, and you will live. If you are honest, let one of you be confined to the guardhouse, while the rest of you go take grain to relieve the hunger of your households. Bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words can be confirmed. Then you won't die. And they consented to this. Then they said to each other, "Obviously, we are being punished for what we did to our brother. We saw his deep distress when he pleaded with us, but we would not listen. This is why this trouble has come to us." But Reuben replied, "Didn't I tell you not to harm the boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now we must account for his blood." They did not recognize or realize that Joseph understood them, since there was an interpreter between them. He turned away from them and wept. When he turned back and spoke to them, he took Simeon from them and had him bound before their eyes. Joseph then gave orders to fill their containers with grain, return each man's silver to his sack, and give them provisions for their journey. This order was carried out. They loaded the grain on their donkeys and left there. Genesis 42:27. The brothers return home. At the place where they lodged for the night, one of them opened his sack to get feed for the donkey, and he saw his silver there on the top of his bag. He said to his brothers, "My silver has been returned. It's here in my bag." Their hearts sank trembling. They turned to one another and said, "What is this that God has done to us?" When they reached their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, they told him all that had happened to them. "The man who is the lord of the country spoke harshly to us and accused us of spying on the country. But we told him, 'We are honest and not spies. We were 12 brothers, sons of the same father. One is no longer living, and the youngest is now with our father in the land of Canaan. The man who is the Lord of the country said to us, 'This is how I will know if you are honest. Leave one brother with me, take food to relieve the hunger of your household, and go. Bring back your youngest brother to me, and I will know that you are not spies, but honest men. I will then give your brother back to you, and you can take trade in the country.' As they began emptying their sacks, there in each man's sack was his bag of silver. When they and their father saw their bags of silver, they were afraid. Their father Jacob said to them, 'It's me that you make childless. Joseph is gone, and Simeon is gone. Now you want to take Benjamin. Everything happens to me.' Then Reuben said to his father, 'You can kill 2 sons if I don't bring him back to you.' Or you can kill my 2 sons if I don't bring him back to you. Put him in my care, and I will return him to you." But Jacob answered, "My son will not go with you, for his brother is dead, and he alone is left. If anything happens to him on your journey, you will bring my gray hairs down to Shiloh in sorrow." And that's where we're gonna end for today. What a cliffhanger. Sorry, you guys, I'm such a nerd. I'm nerding out. What a cliffhanger. What's gonna happen? So good. Well, anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing day. I will get this next video hopefully recorded and up even tonight. So, if you're interested in seeing how the story ends, make sure you watch the next video. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you later. Bye.